Hello. Today I want to talk about my 2099 Spider-Man costume. I wore this for last year's Halloween. I wore it probably only to about 3 places. I was bartending, so I wore it bartending. I wore it to 2 different Halloween parties, and then I just kind of wandered around with it. The lights were really cool, really nice bright effect, especially since it was so dark outside. It did happen to be very hot last Halloween though, and the base of the suit is a wetsuit. I'd never worn a wetsuit before, so I definitely learned my lesson there. The next Spider-Man suit is definitely not going to be made out of a thick piece of neoprene. But today I just want to showcase some of the lights, how I made the entire suit light up, and some of the 3D modeling that I did for 3D printing all of the different panels, the arm spikes, and the different helmet pieces. So let's go through all of that. As I usually do, I started with Fusion 360. I took the same 3D scan of my entire body, and I used that as the base to build all of the different armor pieces on. The hardest part of this was definitely modeling the shoulders. I feel like I could have actually added more subdivisions to the shoulders just so I would have had some more flexibility. I felt like I could move pretty well, but it definitely would have been nicer if I added maybe like a split line here and a split line here just so I could get even more range of motion out of it. But I think the panels all turned out pretty well for what they were. I didn't add any lights underneath the different spider chest design pieces. I initially wanted to, but then I decided that was too much work, so I didn't do it. And I feel like the effect was still cool enough as it was. Going forward though, I guess if I were going to redo it, I would have had every single part that was red, I would have had that light up. I feel like I got maybe like 75% of the way there, and you know what, that was good enough. It got the point across. I feel like the helmet design came out pretty well. What I would do for the next helmet that I make, at least for a Spider-Man helmet, is subdivide it even more. I think this one I split into 2 pieces where the face kind of folded upwards, similar to like an Iron Man helmet. And that's cool and all, but I think it would have been nicer if I had the panels split down the middle and moved to the side of the face so that the helmet doesn't kind of shut on my face again, because there wasn't really anything latching it once it flipped up from coming back down. It was held on the front of the face with some magnets, so that was good. But I think it would have been nice to have it split kind of to the side. That way I wouldn't have to actually figure out some way of holding the faceplate up. I can just kind of have it open and close. So, you know, when I go on to make another Spider-Man costume, that one's gonna have some of those cooler, like fully automated features added to it. As I mentioned before, I do want to put together another Spider-Man costume. That one would be the Superior Spider-Man. Personally, that's just my favorite. He's got the cooler color scheme, a darker Spider-Man. I feel like the storyline is cooler there too. What I would end up doing is I wouldn't use a wetsuit for the base. I would probably actually find a material that I like and just sew pieces together. That way, if I wanted to 3D print panels, I could sew them more directly to the fabric. I could even model the pieces or cut the fabric specifically to go around the 3D printed panels. It would make everything look a lot more uniform. The helmet, again, I would make it as like multiple pieces, more than just 2 pieces, so that way I could have some automation there. And I would add the mechanical spider arm backpack that he has, so I would find a cool way of integrating that. And I would probably have it function as an actual backpack. So, for example, if I were walking around on, say, Halloween, or if I were taking this to a convention, not only would I have the little mechanical arms working on the back of it, but I could just take them off, unzip it, and use that to store any kind of cool merch that I get, or fun posters or stuff from conventions. Because I feel like that's always a thing that I think of like secondary, is like, oh, cool, I made this costume, there's no pockets. Or I don't have, you know, how do I carry a bag? How do I pick things up? That was a big issue with the Chainsaw Man costume. Is cool, my hands have chainsaws on them. How am I going to pick cool stuff up? All of these smaller costumes that I put together are just kind of teaching me little things that it's going to all culminate in my Iron Man suit build. Another thing that I need to learn, and I mean, now that I know how hot it was inside of this suit, I need to go and learn how to put an AC unit and just build an AC unit into the suit. It might be a little harder since this was like a skin tight suit, so if I were to go make another Spider-Man suit, building an AC in there might be a little challenging. The best I could probably do would be maybe something like a fan inside of the helmet, But in terms of an Iron Man suit, there would be a little more space, a bit more of a gap between the inner wall of the suit and my body, so I should be able to put a little AC system inside of that, so that's definitely something I'll keep in mind. And then the lighting, that'll be stuff that's added in, and a lot of the little moving mechanical pieces, like things that I learned while putting together my Chainsaw Man arms, and that helmet, and putting together the lighting system for this costume. All of that is kind of teaching me little things. All these little projects are just helping me learn things that I'll then put towards other stuff that I want to build. So it's always a work in progress, always moving towards building cooler stuff. So yeah, thanks for checking it out. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you thought the costume was cool. And yeah, be sure to follow if you want to see me build other stuff, because I'm definitely going to start covering more of the space behind me, more of these walls, with more swords, props, armor pieces, whatever comes to mind, whatever I make. So yeah, thanks.